are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making Locked On Rays your first listen every day. And remember, Locked On Rays is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube at Locked On Rays. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Locked On Rays. And you can email us anytime, lockedonrays@gmail.com. We would like to do a mailbag episode at some point. So send us your comments, questions, concerns. I think we have a couple in the queue. We just need one or two more to do a full-blown mailbag episode. And before we get rolling here, I should also tell you that today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline, it is where the game starts.
As of right now, 9:08 p.m. Eastern Time on deadline day,
On a Monday.
February 28th,
Yes.
there's a few tweets I want to read to you, okay?
Okay.
At 8:35, Jesse Rogers at ESPN says, league negotiator Dan Halem heads back over to the players. It is the sixth time the sides have come together for talks today/tonight. I just want a one-word answer from you. Is this good? They're meeting 6 times in deadline day.
No.
Okay. Jeff Passan says, there has been movement on minimums, bonus pools, and CBT by MLB today going in the direction of the players. Still isn't enough for a deal at this point. If they get close enough, though, there's a chance they could put off deadline by a day to continue talks in tomorrow. So my question to you on this tweet is, will deadline be pushed until tomorrow? Yes or no?
No. They made their deadline.
Okay. And last but not least, from your buddy, Evan Drellick. Sources say deal not close, but not impossible. CBT thresholds, pre-ARP pool, big issues, among others. MLB has proposed the players 2 options. Option A, 14-team expanded postseason, a minimum of $700K, and $40 million in the pre-ARP pool. The second option is 12-team expanded postseason, $675K minimum, and $20 million into the pre-ARB pool. Which one of these two do you like best and why?
I mean, obviously, from the player standpoint and a fan standpoint, I would like the expanded playoffs, and I would like players to get paid a higher minimum, and I would like to see a higher pre-ARB. So I think the first option is significantly better than the second option, quite frankly.
Okay.
And I think based on those 2 offers that the owners really, I'm going to say it again, really want expanded playoffs. Because if you look at, they're basically doubling the pre-ARB minimum to go to the 14-team playoff, not to mention the extra $25K.
Did you
or the pre-ARB salary?
Did you hear how much they could be getting by doing expanded playoffs from TV revenue?
A crap ton.
100 mil.
Look,
that's a lot of money, Kevin. And yes, you're right. That is the biggest chip that the players are holding on to.
If I'm the players, just make it easy. 14-team playoff, sure, we'll give that to you. A $1 million minimum salary. Let's start there. Seriously. Here, okay, what I said last week, go back and listen to last week's show about some of the observations or maybe some not middle ground, but I thought some decent suggestions to get the ball rolling with this CBA crap, because it is annoying. I'm tired of looking at Evan Drellich's Twitter account and Jesse Rogers and Jeff Passan. By the way, can somebody else made this point? I can't take credit for this, but like Evan Drellick and all these guys that are like at the meetings behind a fence and trying to take photos, like invest in a camera, invest in some technology. Like it's like amateur hour taking a picture on your phone of Manfred like way in front. And that of all things gets like 500,000 views of Manfred walking with his Padfolio to his car or to the office. And oh my gosh, Manfred is walking in the parking lot. Oh my gosh, Max Scherzer pulling up in a Porsche. What is going like it is? I don't care.
Just give me baseball.
Just give us baseball. And here we go. You know what? These issues that they're talking about.
Yeah.
I think I have a bigger, better issue that could really push this thing along.
Hit me.
I'm going to hit you with it. We interviewed Matt Joyce a couple years ago, I think now.
2020, yeah.
And it was brought up, man, he's got that pension. He's in that pension program through the MLBPA.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good deal. I think
it's nice.
You could be, and what is that pension plan? You have to be in the league for 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years. Okay. And if you are in that, last I checked, I think if you are part of that pension plan, you get $7,500 a month. Whether you were a superstar, whether you are a Hall of Famer, whether you were a utility player,
right?
Whatever, you reached your 10 years, you're getting paid this certain amount for your lifetime, from what I understand.
If you hit a certain age, you have to wait until you hit a certain age.
Okay, fair enough. But my contention is that let's change that. Let's slash that in half.
5 years.
Instead of 10 years MLB service time, 5 years MLB service time. If you're not even going to let these players get to free agency, it takes them 6 years to get to free agency, give them a bone. At least give them the option of a pension after 5 years. That's what I got. That's my bargaining chip right there.
I'm going to applaud you because you're thinking outside the box, and I think that that's such a good thing to have as a human being. Let's go outside of the box, think a little bit, be creative. I would just have a slight change on that.
Okay.
And maybe not the same money.
Make it
at 5 years. Maybe like 50 if you're slashing it 50% of time, slash the value of 50%.
Okay.
So whatever the money is that you're getting after 10 months, after 10 years, it's $8,000, you said?
Yeah.
Well, then if you did it for 5 years, you get $4,000.
I like that. Kind of have a step plan.
Kind of has a step plan, yeah.
5 years, you're locked into the pension. But if you were maybe have it, 7 years, you get a little bit more.
Or even 7. Sorry, you're locked in the 5.
Okay.
We can't just, you locked in the 5. 9 years, buddy. I'm sorry. You shouldn't have gotten hurt. You're locked in the 5.
Year.
Too bad. I'm sorry. But
I don't know. I like now that you bring that up, I would like a little middle ground. So 5, 7, 10.
You know what?
5 years, you get $5,000 a month. 7 years, $7,000 a month. 10 years, $10,000 a month.
I bet that's gonna change in like 20 years. $5,000 be like $5,000. That's
okay. For the next 5 years, though, isn't this collective bargaining agreements?
Good point.
Look, I don't need. Good point. I've heard enough about luxury tax. We're not moving the needle on that thing. Let's get creative here. Let's get creative, folks.
This is the most frustrating thing, though, Kevin, is that kids like that we met. Brayden Wilbur, okay? Big Rays fan. He does not get baseball. And I know we're really big fans, and the people that are listening to this podcast are obviously big fans. And thank you all for supporting us, by watching us, by subscribing on YouTube, by subscribing on any platform that you do. But it's about the kids, man.
Yeah.
You got to grow the game. Kids like Brayden, they need to have spring training and see their stars and see their favorite players. And MLB is just shooting themselves not only on the foot, but like on every extremity.
Yeah.
By just not getting a deal done. Get it done. Get it done. The players are asking for the Earth, Moon, and Saturn. They're really not. Have they gotten screwed by themselves in the last 2 CBAs? Yeah. Do they want to get it back? Yeah. Is there enough money in the pie for this to work? Bleep, yes.
I feel like a lot of this could be solved by just slapping advertisements on jerseys. Like you could create a lot of revenue just by that. And again, split the revenue.
Which would be so cheap, by the way.
I don't care. Look, you wear we're not the Yankees here. Like everybody has to have the clean cut beard. Like you put I'm okay with like a little advertisement on the side of the jersey. It's not a big deal, I don't think.
Well, you know what? Let me take you to 2020 when you said it was a big deal that Spectrum and Louisiana Hot Sauce was on the mound.
Was a joke. I thought that was funny.
It's funny, but I didn't like it. Did you like having Spectrum on the mound? That's ridiculous.
I mean, look, if it allowed the Rays to give Wander Franco a contract, I will get on board with it, I suppose.
Okay.
Look, I'm getting to the point where I know that if there is a smidgen of ad revenue that you can generate, it's like radio, where like everything is sponsored or presented by, my morning Constitution was sponsored by whatever. That's the way it goes in radio because they're trying to stay alive. But no, look, whatever. I don't watch ads on TV. We just mute the television, turn to something else. So if you've got to creatively put that ad on the mound or behind the backstop, okay, whatever. I'll deal with it.
Last, because we got to move on. We're going to talk about AL East rankings on starting rotations. But before we do that, last question on this segment. If you had to put green Skittles on that, there is a deal that's happening today, yes or no, what would you do and where would you put those green Skittles?
Great. You just teed that one up. Well, I would go to BetOnline and I would say, no, a deal does not get done tonight. Ulises, do you think a deal gets done tonight?
I'll tell you after the live read.
Okay. Bated breath we are on right now. Football might be over for this season, but basketball is in full steam for both pro and college hoops. From all the latest odds, totals, player performance props to where the next fired coach is going to land, BetOnline.net is the number one spot for all your sports betting needs. BetOnline remains the best spot for all your sports scores, podcast, and news this season. And it's not just basketball, but BetOnline.net is your source for hockey, boxing, and UFC odds, right to the Olympic coverage and information. So head over to the website today or use that mobile device of yours to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, it is where the game starts.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think it's going to happen.
Okay. Are you wavering? Well, we've seen and heard reports about MLB showing a willingness to miss a month of games. Are we still, what did you say?
120.
120? Is that what you're looking at right now?
Yeah.
Still? Okay. Yeah. I'm going to stick to my guns and say the 140-ish benchmark there.
That's not bad. I mean, and I can see that happening. There's been not nasty stuff being said, but stuff with a little bit of an edge that makes me think, if the owners are willing to lose a month of baseball and they put it out there, or it was leaked or leaked,
right?
It's like, play nice, boys.
Yeah.
Come on.
I feel like
it's not as bad as it was on 2020, though. That was, you know what?
We probably could have gotten a lot more games if not for all the mess that happened.
Yeah.
I feel like if the owners, and I know we're going to move on to the starting pitching rankings, but if the owners really want expanded playoffs, which I do, again, I'm on board with it. I love expanded playoffs. Ulises, we're not on the same page there. I get it. But if the owners, this is their thing, like if you're the players, milk it for all it's worth, quite frankly.
100%.
Because once you get that 14-team playoff, you're not going backwards.
You're not going back.
So I don't know. Is it really that much? Is it really that unreasonable to say, okay, MLB, you get your 14-team playoff, but we want the ability for players to go to free agency after 5 years of MLB service time instead of 6 years. 1 year. 1 year for 14 playoff teams. That's a big jump.
No, senor. They don't. The owners are just so not stonewalling the players because obviously they're meeting, but they're sticking to their guns, man. They won the 14-team playoff, and they don't want to give up.
They're not signing mid-level free agents anyway. So
I know it's very frustrating right now.
I think
I'm 12-team play. You know what? This is a whole other.
I know. But last point before we move on. I know we talk about, it's 6 years before players get to free agency, 6 years before, 6 years of MLB service time before players get to free agency. But it's really a lot longer than that when you consider a player drafted into the league and how much time is spent in the minor leagues. Like legitimately, on average, it's probably 10 years, 11 years that you're beholden to a particular certain organization.
Okay, not that much, but a lot.
I mean, you have a player drafted out of high school. He spends 4, 5, 6 years in the minors, and then he gets to the majors, and he has to spend another 6 years before he gets to free agency.
Okay.
I mean, not every player.
Yeah.
But there's several of them. Like,
look, the Chris Bryant case always is ridiculous because if you're 172 days in a major league roster, then you should be able to get that bump. He was on the roster, for how many days? 171.
Yeah.
He files a grievance, and guess what? He loses it. What?
Yeah.
They're the own judge and executioner.
But legitimately, like you look at a guy like Tim Beckham, drafted into.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. And how long did it take him to get to
2014?
Yeah. So,
6
you can.
years,
10 to 12 years.
Yeah, he's killing it in
a lot of guys.
Was he in with the Columbus Knights? I think last season. Yeah.
Yeah, him and Mikey Motto. Yeah. Columbus is like a bad Reyes team from 2015 or something like that. It's crazy. Oh my gosh. Should we go ahead and get to what is the Locked On Podcast Network making us do here with the starting pitching rankings? I guess a diversion from the stupid lockout stuff, right?
People obviously love talking about CBA stuff, Kevin. But we got to give them something else. Yeah. So today we're going to dive deep into the AL East ranking of the rotations. Just an exercise to get talking about the stuff that we actually like, and that is baseball. So when I look at the AL East, of course, we have to mention them just because they are an actual major league team, even though they have not performed like one for the last half decade. The Baltimore Orioles are the worst starting rotation in all of baseball. Not all of baseball.
Wow.
No, sorry. And in the division. That's my bad. In the division. And I mean, when you look at the deepness within every of the team in this division, the Orioles are so thin. I mean, you start with John Means and you're like, okay, that guy could be a top 3 guy. Okay, I like it. In any team would get better by having a John Means.
Although his second half kind of went to crap.
Yeah. Jordan Lyles, Dean Kramer, Jorge Lopez, Bruce Zimmerman.
You're not going to add in Keegan Aiken and Zach Lother?
Do we have to? I mean, so I'm not going to focus a lot on the Orioles. The Orioles have the worst rotation in the AL East.
Yes. So just to kind of set the stage here, Ulises, you're going to give your rankings 5-1 of the AL East best starting rotations, worst to first, literally.
Correct.
And then I will give mine after the break. But I think we can agree that, Baltimore is going to be number 5 on both of our lists. Yeah. I will say this, though. They could be
actually
somewhat intriguing towards the second half of the season because of the prospects they have. Grayson Rodriguez and DL Hall.
Yes. Let's have a back and forth, though, actually. So you have the Orioles on number 5.
Correct.
Okay,
so we're just changing this up on the fly.
Yes.
Because we're running out of time.
Organic pod, baby. Okay.
So, how about this then?
Yes.
After number 4,
yes,
we go to a little breaky break.
Yes.
Maybe, who knows? Maybe between the break, I'll check Twitter
and see if something has happened.
Yeah, probably not, but
you never know.
Okay, so
number 4,
yes,
on my list is the Boston exceeded expectations Red Sox. of 2021.
That is interesting.
Because I look at the names, Nate Eovaldi. Okay, do you know what you're getting from him? I can't say yes. Chris Sale, I can't say what we're getting from Chris Sale. Nick Pivetta, question mark. Rich Hill, he's 44. What can we just say? Yes, I think Rich Hill can give you this. Michael Wacha, can you say what Michael Wacha is going to give you? I think there are way too many question marks. Are the names nice? Yes. Have they been successful in the past? Yes. But the track record, at least recently, doesn't give me a big punch in the face saying like, oh, this is a rotation that you really want to take care of. Honestly, underwhelming. I have him on number 4.
How far did the Red Sox make it into the playoffs last year?
ALCS, unfortunately.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, should I give my number 4 because the Red Sox aren't my number 4?
Okay. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is, and that's the other thing, is are we going by best rotation? Is it combination of depth, pure talent? Like, do we think this rotation keeps up?
Just make your
argument. It's the Yankees. The Yankees are my number 4. Outside of Garrett Cole, okay, I know Jordan Montgomery always gives the Rays fits one reason or the other. I think he's pretty average, although he has a pretty deep repertoire. Luis Severino, don't know where you're going to get from him. Domingo Germán, head case. Nestor Cortez. I see 2 guys on this list that threw over 100 innings in Cole and Montgomery. They don't have Corey Kluber anymore. They don't have Andrew Heaney anymore.
No.
Jamison Taillon, I think he's on the mend or he's injured. I mean, that rotation to me does not look very powerful outside of Garrett Cole, quite frankly.
Okay, so we are we're close.
And there's no. I looked at their prospects list, and it's not like, oh, they've got the next
guy coming up.
Yeah, it's really just all hitting prospects.
Well,
and honestly, I think they had to trade most of their top prospects to get the big boppers that they're trying to get at the trade deadline.
Well, I'll give you a quote unquote prospect that has seen some major league time that could join them in the 2022 season, if we even have one. But before that, let's talk about something that's delicious and healthy for you. Kevin, do you know what that is?
Built Bar, perhaps?
Built Bar, baby. Built Bars are covered in 100% real chocolate. They are delicious. They're low calorie, high protein. You can replace your candy bars with Built Bars because they are just built better. Yeah, I'm making that my thing. I'm making that my copyright.
Built better. I feel like somebody's used that, like a car company or something.
Yeah, maybe I'm stealing
or
that
like
from somebody.
Craftsman Tools. I don't know.
Go to built.com today if you're listening to this podcast and scroll down to the macro stars. You will see that most Built Bars contain 130 calories, 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, and 17 grams of protein. When you compare that to any old candy bar, they are like 200 to 300 calories, and they're just not good for you. So what you have to do, again, today, go to built.com. You use promo code LOCKED15, and you get 15% off your order. So today, do not delay. Oh my God, I'm like Dr. Seuss.
Wow.
Go to built.com, use promo code LOCKED15, and get 15% off your order today at built.com.
We also, in addition to Built Bar, want to tell you about Rock Auto. It's the place where you can save time and money. We're talking saving like 30, 50, even 100% compared to parts from a chain store or car dealership. What's awesome about Rock Auto is they're a family business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. And like I mentioned, their prices are reliably low for every customer. Brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, new carpet, they have it all. Also, their website is easy to use, so you should go there. Go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. And be sure to write Locked On in there. How did you hear about us box? So they know we sent you to the right place. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. That's rockauto.com. So, yeah, I've got the Yankees as my number 4 rotation in the AL East?
Not far away. I have him at number 3.
Okay.
The guy that I was kind of teasing you about was Davey Garcia.
Oh, I forgot about him.
Exactly.
Is he the guy that's like 5'9"?
Yes.
I can hold him in my palm.
So you probably can do that when you're 6'3". Yeah. That's the thing. I understand where you're coming from, and again, I understand the question marks. Honestly, I want to see what Garrett Cole does this year, because of the. Ooh.
Oh, is that? Oh no, that's not a lockout update. That's a basketball alert.
Oh, boo!
Everybody
boo this man! Boo!
Yeah, that's very terrible of ESPN. How dare you?
How dare you? I want to see how Garrett Cole does this year with the whole sticky stuff not being a part of it. People have talked about the lack of value at the end of the season. Maybe it was the hamstring that obviously affected him in the wild card game. I understand those questions. I still put him above the Red Sox, though. I really do.
So that goes to my argument a little bit that Garrett Cole won't be quite vintage Garrett Cole, you think?
I'm interested. I'm interested in what he can do.
Now, again, I would not be surprised if the Yankees leapfrog my number 4 spot to number 3 or higher after a CBA is agreed upon, because it could be a free agent
moves
frenzy. Yeah.
The Yankees have done zero.
That's the thing. I look at this rotation, I say they can't have their number 3 guy be a guy who threw 5 innings last season.
Right.
In Luis Severino.
Right.
I think they're going to go out and sign
a guy.
1, 2, or 3 guys. Yeah. I think that's what's going to happen. And that might change the rankings. But as of today, as of February 28th, 2022, that's what I got. So
who's on your number 3?
My number 3. Oh, man, you are not going to be happy. You are not going to be happy with this. It is the Rays. That is my number 3 rotation.
Wow.
And I looked at it a little bit different. Again, just 2 guys threw over 100 innings last year for the Rays. Who are they? Shane McClanahan, a rookie last year, and Yucky Yarbs. Is Yucky Yarbs going to be part of the rotation this year? I don't know. But Corey Kluber, okay. Drew Rasmussen, is he really a starter? Luis Patino, is he really ready to take that next step? Shane Baz, when are the Rays going to call him up for real? The rotation on paper, and I know all we can do is look at what they have. How the Rays utilize their pitching staff as a whole is so unique, and they get the most bang out of their buck with it. But I'm just looking at, man, I don't want to face this rotation in the playoffs. I put them number 3, quite frankly. And then Tommy Romero, question mark. Josh Fleming, really a starter? Is he really the real deal? Yanni Chirinos, okay. Are we going to get anything from him this year? And I don't necessarily see the Rays making another big move as far as the starting pitching goes as of right now. Tyler Glasnow, obviously, not going to be part of the equation this year. So I look what's according to Fangraphs, they're 1 through 5 right now on the depth chart.
Yeah,
is McClanahan, Rasmussen, Kluber, Yarbrough, Patino. To me, that doesn't strike a ton of fear.
And I understand that, and I think Locked On Race listeners do not agree with you.
Okay,
but I think they see your point. But I'm going to shift over one of the things that you said on how are we grading this?
Yes.
You said that.
Again, we might just be grading it differently.
Yes. When I look at my number 2, I have a tie.
A tie? Okay.
Because I understand what you're saying about the Rays.
Okay.
And the rookie.
Fair.
And how are you going to get guys to hit 100, triple digits, and cover some innings? I have to give them that podium to be tied for first for the Rays because the depth. Because, yeah, you do have Shane McClanahan, you have Corey Kluber, you have Luis Patino, you have Shane Baz, you have Drew Rasmussen, you have Ryan Yarbrough, you have Josh Fleming, you have Yanni Chirinos, you have Tommy Romero.
But is that
Ian
good
Seymour.
depth, or is it just arms?
I mean, that's the thing. It's actually good depth.
And I think this is the first time anybody's mentioned Ian Seymour as an option.
I'm mentioning it right now. He's my boy.
And again,
now.
he could be. That's the thing. We just don't know with the Rays. I just think that if we're MLB.com does hey, who's the best rotation? Like, nobody's going to pick the Rays because it just doesn't add up on paper.
When do they ever pick the Rays for anything?
That's true.
Again, so I understand all your qualms about not putting them in first or second, but I do. I have to put them as a tie, because then when you shift over and you look at what Canada has to offer, Canada's team, the Toronto Blue Jays, Jose Barrios, Kevin Gausman, Hyun-Jin Ryu, Nate Pearson, Ross Stripling, Alek Manoah. That's a nice rotation. That is way better than the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Yankees. And then when you put them against the Rays, I can see how even the Blue Jays are, up there with maybe even a step above the Rays at times. Because
especially if it comes down to the playoffs. That's kind of what I put into this a little bit.
That's the thing. We saw the Rays kind of struggle with their young guys, but that's good experience. We talked about that endlessly. So that's my podium. I've got 5 Orioles, 4 Red Sox, 3 Yankees, and then for a tie, I got the Rays and the Blue Jays.
You got your top 5. I didn't even get to my 2 or 1 yet. My number 2 is the Red Sox, believe it or not. Nate Eovaldi, I think he's going to basically mirror what he did last year. I think Chris Sale is going to have a very Chris Sale-like season.
After not showing up to be Chris Sale.
No, he showed up.
For
he
what?
Just only played
30 innings, 25?
Yeah, because he was coming off Tommy John surgery, but he was good in those 40-plus innings.
Well, not in the playoffs, baby. I'm just saying, there's question marks.
We can go tit for tat with Rays pitchers on that one.
Fair
Look,
enough.
And you mentioned the depth piece of the Rays. I think you could take that with the Red Sox, maybe even more so.
Tanner Houck.
Yeah, Tanner Houck's actually really good. I think he's going to have sort of a breakout season this year. Garrett Whitlock is another big name. And I think this is what makes me leery. Chaim Bloom leading the Red Sox.
Yeah, it's a tough gig there.
He is copying off the test of the Rays by getting Rich Hill, Michael Wacha. I think
he saw something.
Yes, and as we did with Michael Wacha, scrap the cutter, you're going to get much more improved. Rich Hill, again, I don't think he's got 150 innings in the tank, but he's going to provide some value. God. Nick Pivetta definitely showed some things in the playoffs. I think this is a really good rotation, actually, and I think it's a deep rotation.
But Michael Wacha at Fenway, would you put Michael Wacha at Fenway and not expect to at least give up 5-6 runs? That's really tough.
Then you just get creative with Garrett Whitlock, Tanner Houck combination.
Well, you could have a 6-man rotation in Boston. You could have Eovaldi, Sale, Pivetta, Hill, Wacha, Houck. You could do that.
Yeah.
And maybe with Chaim Bloom, like you said, could get Razian. It could get Friedman. It could get meandering openers.
They signed Kike Hernandez for an unceremonious 2-year, $14 million deal, and he became a 5-4 player.
Becomes Randy Arozarena of 2020.
Yeah. So I think they figured something out. So I think while you look at these names, like outside of Chris Sale and Nate Eovaldi, of course, it's like it doesn't really light up, and that's what we all thought, that the Red Sox, their pitching staff was fool's gold last year. And in the playoffs, they made it to the ALCS, did they not? So, and you're going to have a healthy Chris Sale, seemingly. I'm a little concerned, honestly. I'm a little concerned about that. So they're my number 2, and then my number 1 are the Toronto Blue Jays, because I think their numbers 1 through 4, just you're not beating them.
Yeah, Barrios, Gausman, Rio, Pearson, Ryu.
Well, Manoah's their number 4.
Yeah, or Manoah,
Barrios, Gausman, Ryu, Manoah. That's a really, really, really strong number 4.
It's nasty.
Then, okay, I guess maybe you throw in Stripling at 5. That's why I also think the Blue Jays aren't quite done with the starting rotation piece. But this also gets into the depth. I don't think they have any depth as far as starting pitching goes. Like Nate Pearson, I don't know if he's ever really going to take that mantle of being a star. He's always got a groin injury or something. Like
he's been injured a lot.
So, and it's weird because I sort of in a way root for the Blue Jays prospects because they've got a lot of local kids, a lot of local pitchers that are trying to work their way up. CJ Van Eyck, Gunnar Hoagland, Nate Pearson, like I mentioned, but they're still a ways away. But that I'm really honing in at that 1 through 4 of Barrios, Gausman, Ryu, and Manoah. And that can be enough to get you through the playoffs.
I don't think that there's a Locked On Rays listener that would disagree with putting the Jays number one on this exercise. If you disagree, please write on YouTube on the comment section. Who's your top 5 in the division?
And here's the last thing. If this season gets pushed back and delayed further, I think it only helps a team like the Blue Jays. Okay, fewer games, fewer innings that we have to require out of this rotation. And compared to the Rays, where it's like we're just trying to use like 11 pitchers and have them throw 80 to 90 innings. It might not all add up if you have a 120, 130 game season.
That's why I think, that's why they're comparable, because if you play 120 games, then you don't have to be like, Luis Patino has to do 140 innings. Like, you don't need that. You don't need that anymore. So a smaller schedule, which we talked about last week, and you guys should check that episode out. I think that would be very beneficial for the Rays.
And if you have a 14-team playoff, then you can kind of save, if you have a playoff spot, and the reward, it's not like, depending on how they set it up, if it's not so much better to win the division, then you can kind of rest on your laurels a little bit.
That's right.
And just, hey, as long we can win if we get in. That's what we're looking for. So there we go. One more time. What's your top 5? 5-1?
5 Orioles, 4 Red Sox, 3 Yankees, 2. Okay, I'll put it up. 2 Rays, 1 Jays, but it's very close for me.
Okay. And mine, Baltimore 5. Yankees 4. Rays 3. I'm sorry. Hold the hate mail. Red Sox 2. And Blue Jays 1. There we go. Feel free to email us if you can email us your top 5 too. We'd love to hear that and give us your take on all that. And again, I think this could very well change by the time the season starts because of free agency. This is just today's ranking. So just throwing that out there. Thank you for making the Locked On Rays podcast your first listen every day. Now make your second listen the Locked On Bets podcast. That is also free and available on all platforms. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and hopefully we'll have baseball at some point, but not planning on it. Talk to you soon.